So welcome everyone. Welcome to our second round meeting concerning the Flash. And we are here to talk about the proposed July 2024 Flash service change. I am Dan Filipino. I am a transportation planner with the city of Tempe. I'd like to turn it over to Shannon Benson from Valley Metro.
All right, so I'll just give you some quick instructions on how to use WebEx. So for those who are attending virtually, you can ask a question by selecting the question mark icon on your screen and then typing your question in. However, you're also welcome to type questions or comments directly into the chat box at any time during this presentation, and I am happy to read them aloud on your behalf. If you would like to ask your question aloud, you can select the raise hand icon and I will give you the ability to unmute. But when you are done, just be sure to select lower hand and mute your mic.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. So here today, the agenda for today's meeting is we're going to look at the proposed Flash service change that would take effect in July of 2024. And we're going to also look at the change process, and we're going to give people an opportunity to submit the feedback even into the future and provide a question and answer session today after the presentation. So the Flash service change process actually began earlier last year, or late last year, I should say, as the Flash originally was proposed to be eliminated with the this coming summer after the ASU school year, the 2023-2024 school year. There was public outreach that was held with tremendous feedback received from the community. And we had a public hearing here on November 2023, where we heard from the public in person also. And it was overwhelming support that we had heard to keep the Flash routes instead of eliminating Flash. So taking those comments that we received, and we received comments through email, we received comments online, we received comments in person. What we did is we took those comments and we worked at a way to, instead of eliminating the route, look for a way to keep the route and improve the route. And we think what we're providing today is a much better and an improved service model for the Flash. And again, with the Flash outreach plan, we are in our second round of the Flash outreach. Public comment period is open from March 18th through April 1st. Today is the hybrid public meeting where we're giving people an opportunity to make their comments here during the meeting. The next step after this meeting, if the route is approved here, the next step is it will go to the Tempe Transportation Commission on April 9th for review. And as we move through the process, there are other steps that have to go through Valley Metro to approve through the Valley Metro board. But the goal is to have this new route in place effective July 22nd of 2024. So this is a map of the proposed route. And as you see on the map, the green is the new routing for the Flash, where the purple color was the current routing for the Flash. And the major change that you see is the Flash will more serve the ASU campus. And that's really what the Flash's intention was to service the campus. And this change, which allows us to bring the Flash further to the west towards Mill Avenue and Gamage Parkway and Forest Avenue, allows the Flash to serve everywhere from Lot 59, the parking at ASU parking behind the stadium. It allows us to serve McAllister Avenue in a bi-directional manner. And it allows access to the west side of the campus with access to ASU student services, which we know is a very popular destination for this, or for anyone at ASU. This is just a view of it, the new proposed routing on a map. And as you see, it starts, or it services lot 59 in this area here. It hits the heart of the campus through McAllister Avenue, continues on Apache Boulevard to ASU State University Student Services Building, which is right in this area here. So again, as I just said, it does provide the service from lot 59 to the ASU Student Services Building. It is continuing to serve the heart of the campus, which is a big comment that we heard from everyone, is this was the route that gives the most access to McAllister Avenue. And that was when we sat down with ASU, that was one of our goals, was to ensure that this continued to service McAllister Avenue. Again, it does provide access to more of the ASU campus, including the west side. Now, the major changes from today, the frequency would change. Today's service runs every 10 minutes from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. The proposed service change would run from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it would run every 15 minutes. But the ridership late at night or after 6 p.m., there is very light ridership. So we don't see a lot of people riding the bus or riding the Flash late into the evenings. And the other main difference is that the Flash will no longer go to the Tempe Transit Center and it will not service Spence Avenue. But Spence Avenue does have the Orbit Mercury that services, or the Orbit Mars services Spence Avenue. And it is walking distance to the Route 72 and to the Tempe streetcar. So there are some options for persons who live in the Spence Avenue area to catch other type of transits and even connect to the Flash to get them to their destination.
That's perfect.
So at this time, we'd like to open it up to questions and comments. And if
So I reside off in the Gentilly Terrace off of Spence. And I did already send my comment in the previous round. But the comment you just said right now, where does it connect to Spence Avenue? Is there a stop?
so the Mars bus actually rides
Right.
down Spence.
Right, which is perfect. We're happy to have Flash out of our neighborhood. But if for some students who do live in our neighborhood, where would they be able to pick it up? Like, is there a stop right at Apache near Spence, or do you know where stops will be located? Because currently, right now in Spence, there's one stop. You can't even flash it down, so it's useless to most of us in the neighborhood. Unless you walk a quarter mile to even get it, in which case you could grab the Mars.
So it does connect, so where the Mars, they could take the Mars up to the Tyler station and exit the Mars there and walk over to McAllister, and they would be able to catch the Flash there on McAllister. So it's not a far walk from the Tyler station to the stop on McAllister, but it does provide a connection between the two routes.
I was just gonna ask her a question. When you talk about Spence, are you talking about between Terrace and Rural on Spence?
That's our neighborhood, but I'm on the other side of Terrace, closer to Hudson, what was Hudson Park? Chemicals.
I was just gonna say that I don't know if you're aware of what's going on with the Mars. It's standing room only.
Yes,
That is, that you will have 4 buses pass you before you even get on in the evening or during the day. After 10 o'clock, it is a standing room only with that bus. And the more it goes into the afternoon, it's always packed. That is a very popular route because of college students, international students that live, along like the Vista del Cerro corridor, down that street. It's constantly packed and, up until 10 o'clock at night,
And we have heard from the Mars riders that it has been very busy, and we have heard that there are times that it is hard to get onto a Mars. And that's one of the things we, as the city of Tempe, are trying to look at other ways to provide service. And we're actually been working with Valley Metro this week discussing what are ways that we could focus more on the heavy ridership periods on the ordinance and so we are working with Valley Metro currently to look towards solutions for that, because we do understand that since COVID has ended, and especially this year, we see a lot higher ridership on the ordinance in general, but especially the Mercury and the Mars. And, so we are trying to find a solution to the issue, whether it's, assigning more buses during those time frames, looking at the entire day when we don't need as much service, when we have the ability to provide more service. So that is something that we are looking at currently.
and just to give you a heads up, I don't know if you're aware, I think I sent you an email about this, Dan, where the ASU shuttle, the Poly campus shuttle, when it goes to its second stop, which is at, University and Rural Light Rail Station, when it offboards there, every 15 minutes, students get off that shuttle, go directly across the street to the Mars stop, and they are spilling into the street. Like, it's usually after 9 o'clock and up until like the last shuttle stops there. But that is a very busy time frame. Students are coming from other campuses.
So a lot of people that are exiting the ASU buses to catch
The Mars.
the Mars.
It's in the early morning too. On my previous comment, I had said, I think, my initial comment was ditch this and put the money into the Mars, because my nephew works at Safeway overnight, and at 7 AM, when he gets off, 7, 8, 9 AM, he can't get on, and he uses a cane. And he essentially has to walk home after an 8-hour, shift working.
Yes. And thank you for sharing that information, and just wanted to make sure that we shared that we are aware of the issue, and we're trying to find ways to solve it at this point.
The Mars route is like the last, where that route goes, I think that's the last area of residential housing for students, like apartments that are affordable, that are like under the $1,500, $1,000 a month range. And they're older apartments over there. So I think that's why there's just so many students that are over that way.
Yes. Thank you.
Comment online, I think, Shannon.
Mm-hmm. So there's a comment in the chat from Blake Sue. They say, I think it is great that the Flash Bus will be extending service onto the west side of campus. However, as a student who lives in the row of off-campus apartments by the Apache Boulevard Terrace Road stop, the new route adjustment will do more harm than good, as I can no longer use it to directly commute back and forth to the east end of campus and any events or work up at the stadium. I would ask that the route be adjusted to preserve the Apache Terrace stop, as it accounts for much of the system's ridership based on my own observations as a daily rider. Moreover, I would like to see the bus run until 8 PM, as I often have classes and clubs on campus that go past 6 PM, and I would like to use the bus to go home, even if it can't be every 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you for your comments. So this ties back into, I think, what the area that we've just been discussing, the Terrace and Spence area. So yes, as Dan mentioned, we're looking at ways to accommodate some of the peak loading that we see on the Orbit Mars route. Another service that's also available in that area at Apache, not at Apache and Terrace, but nearby to Apache and Dorsey, is of course our new streetcar as well. And that does provide service late into the evening hours, up to Sun Devil Stadium or Mountain America Stadium. Sorry.
Nobody knows the name.
The stadium, the little stadium. So you can use a streetcar. Theoretically, somebody could use a streetcar to connect from Dorsey and Apache to the north side of the stadium, and there is pedestrian access from that location as well. So certainly appreciate the comments, though, regarding the span of service. It's something we can certainly discuss. And as Dan mentioned, generally we do see quite a significant decline in ridership after, the evening rush, if you will, 5, 6 PM. It really does decline. So that was part of one of the factors that went into the suggestion to run the service until 6 PM. We'll certainly take that into consideration. So thank you for that.
Is there any more comments on that? Yes, so you.
I want to voice, as an ASU student, I want to voice my support for this route change. It was only capture the ridership that the Tempe streetcar took along the west side of campus and provide interchanges between the two services. And plus, so as I can see, it will also eliminate confusion in the around lot 59, as it just only goes unidirectional.
Yes, exactly. So thank you for the comment.
My pleasure, so.
So again, as far as the Flash proposed service change, please share your feedback by April 1st, 2024. You could reach or provide your feedback through email to Valley Metro at input@valleymetro.org or complete the online survey. There is the chat in this meeting right here. I think we have one more comment. And there's also, we'll tackle that last comment, but there is also the opportunity of contacting Valley Metro at any point using their customer service phone number at 602-253-5000 or leave a verbal comment on our public input voicemail at 602-322-4479.
And then there is another comment in the chat from Cynthia. She says, I appreciate that the Tempe residents use the Flash. However, the Flash primarily serves staff, faculty, and students to get around campus. The new proposed route is better. Tempe residents should use the Orbit buses, and if they are crowded, that is a different topic.
Thank you, Cynthia. We appreciate your feedback. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate the feedback, and we will take everyone's comments into consideration. Thank you.
We'll stick around for just a few minutes to see if there are any other comments that come in.
Start, I heard 5:30. We didn't have as many passionate people as we did in the last one.
I think because we thought it was going away and we're trying to save it.
That's what the proposal was, so.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that, the team has worked very hard to try to come up with some solutions and spent a considerable amount of time working through this.
Sure.
It's a work in progress. We know that it's even gonna continue to evolve, as we talked about last time. The way transportation continues and the way development continues in Tempe, this will be a work in
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah, because I mean, there's buildings constantly going up and, just an influx of people. Like there's 11 restaurants going up at 6 and Rural pretty soon. I don't know how long that development will take, plus a new apartment building going over there. So the route might need to change once again in a couple of years.
Yeah.
I did want to touch on a comment someone made about the the rerouting, where it won't, I think if I heard correctly, the new route will not go down, where Terrace and Apache is, so it won't hit Apollo. On that corner where the apartment building is, that'll be a non-place anymore. There are a lot of students, not a lot, but like I've seen probably at the most 7 get on there, which I was surprised by a few times. But that I know is, a popular spot because it's for Apollo, and then I guess the students from Park Place from across the street catch the bus there too. So I know that you can catch the streetcar, but that is 2 blocks away, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know how a student would want to go walk away from campus just to go back.
They can catch it. It's got several, the streetcar has several stops.
It does.
It's at Dorsey, but it also has at those restaurants there right at Roll,
Yes,
Apache and Roll.
it is the.
Is that the next stop?
Also, so there is the shorter walk back to Dorsey and a little bit longer walk to the Rural Road stop.
Okay,
And when I was putting the signs up, I noticed there were that was the stop that had probably the most kids. There was probably 4 students that
Yeah.
were waiting for the flash.
yeah,
It's really not too far from there to the Dorsey stop.
okay,
It is pretty close, but it requires a connection, but at least, they can connect from the streetcar to the flash, on Apache. Or actually they can, that's also another place that they can catch the Mars, right, across the streets.
oh, yeah.
They can catch the Mars.
Actually, no. There seems, well, I won't say no. There seems to be selective drivers that will stop on, in between, it's on Terrace, but it's in between Apache and Spence. And it's because both sides of that street, there are issues with Park Place. So one of the things that I've noticed is, cars will sit there waiting for friends or people to come out from the building. And it's only 1 lane going each direction, north and south. The other thing is, Ubers and Lyfts dropping people off or picking people up, which hinders traffic from going there. The other thing is within the pedestrian path, there is the rocks before you get to the sidewalk. So there's some activity, hindrances, and a lot of times heading northbound on the Mars or the Flash as it is currently.
Yes.
The drivers will not stop there because they're saying that's not a flash zone. I mean, flag zone. So that might be something to look into because I've had drivers say, we can't drop off here in this area.
We will certainly look into that. It is a flag zone, but the caveat with flag zones is they'll only stop where it's safe to do so. And so, if there's not a clear boarding area, but they can stop on the north side of the intersection. So just across the street there, is a stop where it can safely pull over and pick up. We do try with new developments as they come through the process to be cognizant of which ones are adjacent to orbit routes, and Dan submits comments weekly to incorporate a boarding area. So this is an example of an area we'll potentially improve.
Yeah,
As a long-term resident of Gentilly Terrace, and the reason why it went to one-way, the city, our comments were that there were ASU students and employees who were parking there all day, Monday through Friday, and it was very congested. But she's accurate that there ought to be a loading zone through the rocks or whatever. It would benefit safety in our neighborhood to have on either side, like a loading zone for the Ubers and the pickups and the whatever, because you're trying to drive through there, and then, as she said, then you gotta wait, and they're not very mobile, they're not gonna move,
Yes,
so you're waiting.
so we could definitely take a look at that and, if we can find a safer location. But it's, we always, safety is always, the utmost priority, and we want to make sure that we can provide safe boarding for the riders.
I've not encountered a driver who didn't stop for me.
Oh, I have a lot of fun with drivers Valley Metro, so it just depends on, I think it's, you know what it is? I think it's the flash. The flash is the one that says that's not, they only stop at the bus stops.
Right.
Yeah,
So that, it's the flash.
Yes,
I'm stand corrected, it's not the Mars. But I've noticed the Mars has difficulty stopping along there, but they will stop. It's the flash that doesn't stop, on Terrace between Spence and Apache.
that's true. I thought it was a flag, and I was like.
I did too.
And I was like,
Yeah, and they don't stop until, if they're heading northbound, they don't stop until they turn onto Apache at that first corner stop where Apollo is.
yes,
And you usually, that's when you find, that's when I found out it's not a flag zone. When I found out the flash isn't a flag zone bus, it's bus stops only.
I think part of some of the confusion around just the flash in this area too, and just point out that, back to the comments earlier about just the evolution of how this has been structured. Pre-streetcar, the flash really did just circulate the campus from lot 59 down to Apache and then around campus. Basically a circulator, which was the original intent. Because when the streetcar came on, that I think the team was looking to just maximize which parts of the campus were being served by it. And really, JC, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Spence leg of it was really a necessity to turn the bus around.
we were told.
Oh, yeah.
So it really wasn't it wasn't based on like a demand from an ASU side of like, we have this particular group of students that we need to serve. It was really just a function of like, how can we make this route work? And again, it's probably been in place for just a couple of years, 2 years. And again, looking at this is how can we continue to make it better? How can we continue to restructure it? Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier, and we can also do a better job of communicating to students as we get ready for the start of the semester and they're living in those apartments of which routes to take, which services to use, how best to use it, and hopefully that helps the community as well.
Yeah, our neighborhood concerns when that change took during the pandemic was that Spence had potholes upon potholes, but now it's since been redone, and then it was redone, not able to handle that heavy thing, and then it had to be redone again, amended again, but it seems like Spence is holding right now.
I work over there too, right off Spence.
Oh, you're in fact, man? Facilities maintenance?
I'm in that building.
Okay.
Well, if there are no other comments online or from the room, I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and thank our partners at ASU as well. We didn't mention, but ASU Parking and Transit Services, they fund this route. So, these ideas and decisions are all formed in close partnership with them. So thanks to ASU and to Valley Metro as well.